Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a member of Stunthangar Forum to find the link so you can be part of the live stream and the after party. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying, courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in and just enjoy us watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. Now understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comment. And by the way, you only can make your comments or questions known during a live stream. So like I said, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, Saturday at John's, contest coverage that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And it won't cost you a penny to do that. Subscribe, and when you subscribe, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all so that whether myself or Sparky's on, you'll be notified. Share the videos, comments on the videos. All these activities help the Stunthangar YouTube channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube channel memberships starting at $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm also a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account, and I don't miss it, and I suspect you won't either. You can also show your support using the super chat feature, which is below the chat box. It's a big $sign, and donate any amount you like. Now, with your support, you're actually helping Sparky offset some of the expenses of running Stunthangar. And with your memberships, you'll get special badges and stickers that Sparky and I can see in the YouTube chat box. Also, you get unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. I'm only in here just twice a week. So if you want to get in touch with me, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. All the letters are there. And place your comment or question on the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which Sparky shot with this video camera of me flying his Junar XL. And I'll receive a notification and be able to respond to you quickly. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or your grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to now post a link at stunthangar.com. That is the way to get in here. You go to stunthangar.com and go to At the Bench, and you'll see a link with today's date. And that is how you get in here. So let me go to what I call Sparky's control panel. And let me see how things are going. My internet is a little bit slow, so just bear with me. I only can move as fast as internet will allow me. And hope everybody had a good weekend. Monday, October 10th. And hopefully we have a good show. I know that Mondays and Fridays are pretty much on par with each other. So I'm looking forward to see what's in store. Looks like we have 12 concurrent viewers already and 4 likes. So please hit the like or smash the like button. That helps the analytics of the show. And I see that Gary Sinclair, he says, he actually texts like provided. Thank you very much, Gary. And the National Free Flight Society, he says, glad to be here. Love your videos. Thank you so much, National Free Flight Society. Appreciate it. And Dennis Adamison says, hi, Charles. Hi, Gary. Like provided. Thank you very much. So now we're up to 5 likes. So please, the 7 of you that are left, please just smash that like button. It just takes a second and it won't cost you a penny. So please do that. And let's see here. It looks like no one's in here yet, but I'm sure that people will be in here to join me shortly. Let me see. I'll just talk about myself for a moment. I went out flying today and took my SV11 out, my electric SV11. I went to this, I've been flying at this soccer park, and it's surrounded by mountains. I think they're mountains. It might just be huge hills. I don't know what the difference is really, but these are some big mountains, big hills. And there's this one opening, but the flying field is totally surrounded by these hills or mountains. And it is, I've just come to the conclusion that it's just not a good place to fly. The air is strange there. The plane does some weird things that it doesn't normally do when I fly at Kit Carson Park. So I just decided I'm not going to try to fly there anymore. It's very attractive because, like a soccer field, it's flat and they keep the grass mowed, and it's much better than where I fly at as far as the grass. And I can pull up and park my car, and then I can just pit like 10, 15 feet away. And that is very attractive compared to where I normally fly. I have to hike a little bit of a distance, and I have a lot of stuff I have to unload. So it's a lot of back and forth, and it's kind of taxing. And so I kind of like this other place, but I don't know. It's just not worth it. I was doing a vertical figure 8, and right where the intersection is, between the bottom loop and the top loop, the line got slack, and I had no control. But fortunately, this plane has really good habits. I mean, it just pretty much stayed probably 45 degrees and went all the way around back to where I started the maneuver, and I just pulled out, and I was like, what was that? So it's waiting for tonight's link. I thought I posted the link. Thank you, Dennis. I did everything but post the link. There we go. All right. Well, the link is now posted, Dennis. Everybody, I apologize. Man, I tell you, that's a shame because I was right on it too. But that happens. But I think that's the first time I've made that mistake. So a little bit different. So now at least Dennis will join me, maybe Gary and other people who've been waiting for the link. Here comes Bob Hunt. Looks like Bob Hunt's making his way in here. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing good. Sorry about the late posting. If it wasn't for Dennis, I would have been wondering what's wrong with everybody else, but it was me. I just posted the link. So sorry about it being late.
That's all right.
And you are the man of the month. Did you know that?
I'm the man of the month.
You are the man of the month. Let me
How did that come about?
Yeah, October is your month.
Well, that's true.
So we have this. Let me show you, Bob, what I'm talking about. Hey, Dennis. Thanks for the heads up. I didn't realize I hadn't posted the link. Sorry about that, Gary.
Okay, I was waiting.
Yeah, I was like, where's everybody at? And I hadn't posted the link yet. So, and
Hi, guys.
Hey, hi, Keith. Hey, sorry about me posting the link late. I didn't know I didn't. I think that's the first time I've done that in 2 years. So that's not too bad.
Well, you said you was slow, so
Yeah.
I was
Hey,
thinking,
Mike, thanks for coming in. And
Nice.
Robert, thank you for coming in, Robert.
Whoa.
Hi there.
Haven't seen you.
Sorry, I did not
in
post a link earlier. I don't know what happened, but thank God Dennis reminded me that I hadn't posted a link yet. And
No, I just figured I haven't been on in a month, so I better say hi. Or you're going to be sending flowers to a funeral or something.
I've been wondering where you're at, and I don't, I know you're up in Canada, so I guess I could have PM'd you, but I've been thinking about you, Bob. I've been wondering when you're going to come in. I figured.
Well, that's neat.
I figured you was
Yeah,
flying.
I've been
real
kind of
airplane.
busy with work and everything else, and had a really neat ferry trip last weekend from a place called Prince George in interior BC, and went through the Rocky Mountains and stuff with a plane you probably never heard of, a Fleet Canuck. They were built in Canada in 1946, and of the era of trainers of them, it's one of the better ones. And it was nostalgic for me. It's the type of airplane I learned to fly tailwheel airplanes on in 1977.
Wow.
And I've got a customer who's been looking for one for a couple of years, and so I kind of turned him on to one. We have one in our museum here, and I had him sit in it, and he figured he can fit in that, unlike most of them from that era. And but it's only got 85 ponies in it, and he's a little bit heftier than me. And going through the mountains, it was a fairly warm day. The best I could get was a little over 100 feet a minute rate of climb, so it took a while. The 9,000 foot minimum altitude restriction over Jasper, so it took me close to half an hour to get up to 9,000 feet. I circled around before I went into the pass, and then kept climbing through it, and turned out to be a non-event. They had it the NOTAM for which is noticed airmen by the forestry department for forest fires. Well, it was crystal clear skies. You couldn't ask for better conditions. It was kind of neat when I got back to Edmonton with it, because it was racing dark by then, and darkness won. This airplane isn't legal for night flying. I had navigation lights, and that's it. And the radio wasn't working, so I was using my handheld.
Wow.
And it had been a lot of years since I'd landed a tail dragger plane at night, so I took the option on the long runway, and I just kind of settled it in nice and easy. And it was a non-event, and got it parked, and so going to get a bunch of work done on it and start teaching the guy from scratch on this airplane. So it was an adventurous trip, but a fun one.
Sounds.
But I was happy to be.
Can you tip the nitro can on that or something like that? Get it up to get a few more horses out of it?
I was thinking about that. I had about 3 hours endurance, and on that particular leg, it was 2.1 hours or 2.2. I think I touched down, and then getting back to Edmonton, didn't care about fuel burn too much because it was just over an hour. So we just opened it up and let her rip. But darkness still beat me though. But yeah, it was fun. I was telling Chris Cox about that the other day. He was having a good chuckle because for aircraft evaluation for service ceiling, you have to still maintain 200 feet a minute rate of climb. When it gets down to that, that's your effective service ceiling. Well, I never had 200 feet a minute from the start. I probably would have had to be 2,000 feet below sea level. But him and I had a good laugh because he was saying with his air coupe, it's the same that way when he puts another adult in with him.
Very cool.
So I was wanting to go out and see Chris Cox and the guys this weekend. And then he ended up going down to Washington for the contest. So I postponed my trip till next month. I was going down, picking up some airplanes and stuff, and just going to visit with the guys.
Very cool. Let me welcome Stuart. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that, Stuart. And Jim Hoffman, thank you very much for coming in. And Lynn Burrell, thank you for coming in.
Hey,
let me show Bob Hunt why he's the man of the month. He might know already, but I'm going to show him a picture.
I have no clue what you're talking about, except for it's my birthday month. That's the only thing I can think of.
But let me show you. Let me make myself big here. Spotlight.
Didn't have anything to do with those pictures down at the post office, did it? Oh, yeah, there we go.
Oh, right.
There we are. I'm looking across at it right now in my shop.
Yeah. I've been flying that thing a lot.
You have? Oh, good.
Yeah, it flies really good.
Great. That's good news.
So I started using those Li-ion batteries. I got the 2600 6S Li-ions, and I wasn't sure with the two badass match sets of 10.5 wood props on that big airplane whether I'd have enough battery or not. And I flew it, came home and charged the battery, and I put 1855 back into a 2600. So I got plenty of headroom.
Very good.
Yeah.
So do you like the ion batteries better than the LiPo?
I can't say that I like them any better yet. I've just started flying them, but they certainly work fine. And the only downside I see to them is you can only charge them at 1C. You can't fast charge them. But other than that, they seem fine.
What kind of batteries are those, Bob?
The Li-ion batteries.
Lithium ion?
Instead of Li-poly, we're using Li-ions now.
Okay. Just like we've used in drills and stuff for years.
Yeah.
So give me an example of how long it takes to charge the LiPo versus a ion battery. What's the difference in time?
Well, if you were to charge a Li-poly at 1C, Dennis could probably tell you better than I could. I would think that it would take the same amount of time to charge the same size battery. But with a Li-poly, you can charge it 2C or even 3C safely if you have to get batteries charged quickly. You wouldn't want to make a regular practice of that, but it's safe to do. I've done it a lot of times. But with the Li-ions, the good side of that is you don't have to charge them the morning you go flying. You can charge them the night before, and they don't lose any significant charge overnight. And it doesn't damage the battery, apparently, to charge them and even leave them charged after you come home from the field if you didn't fly them for a while. We're always being very careful with the Li-polys to try to charge them just before we go flying and then discharge any ones that we didn't use when we got home.
So what's the time difference if you do like have a faster C, what you normally do? I'm trying to get an idea of how long you usually take to charge your batteries, and then how long
well, I mean, if you're charging, let's say you're charging one battery and it's a 2,500 milliamp battery, you're charging at 2.5 amps. And what does that take, Dennis? Normally 40 minutes?
Yeah, I'm thinking 45 minutes on a balance charge, might be 35, might be 50, but 40. I allow 45. And Charles, what he's talking about is that you could, with a Li-poly, you could go 3. I think some are even 5C batteries, which means that instead of putting 1 amp in, you put in 3 amps at a time. And so in a perfect universe, you charge it at 3C, the 45 minutes becomes 15 minutes. Although I suppose when you're balancing it, that still that lasts a little bit, still takes a little. But bottom line is that you can do it a lot quicker. And it sounds like with the lithium ions, that's not a case. Now, for the record, I usually charge all my Li-polys at 1C anyway. I just put them on charge, go in, have a cup of coffee, eat my corn flakes, and by the time I'm done, it's ready to go fly. So
yeah,
not a
well,
big
if you
deal.
want a testimonial of how long they last, I don't know if you see that there.
Thank you.
This battery pack I got probably in 2009, and I used it industrially for years, and it still works perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an 18 volt Milwaukee, and 27 WH, whatever. It takes probably about 20 minutes for a charge on that one, maybe half an hour. And I just swear by them. When they first brought them out, there was a lot of problems, and Milwaukee just replaced all of my battery packs and chargers right off the bat and offered me loaners in the meantime. But since they replaced them, and that was many years ago, I've never had a glitch with them whatsoever, when they're 12 volt or they're 18s. So I'm really a fan of the lithium ion. For my handheld radio for aircraft flying, when they first came out with them, well, when I wanted to buy a handheld, they were just coming out with the lithium ion ones, and I bought one of the early ones, and I relied on it totally on that flight I was telling you about a few minutes ago. And so I'm a fan of lithium ion. I'd be happy to put up with a longer charge rate than the LiPos if that's the case. And I've never heard of batteries swelling or catching on fire or any kind of a problem with these on charging.
Well, that's one of the advantages of the Li-ions, according to Paul Walker. He said you put out a little page listing the advantages and disadvantages, and one of them is that they are safer. That they don't have a tendency in any way, shape, or form to vent with flame, as some people say Li-polys explode. They don't explode. There's no explosive component in there, but they can vent with flame if you charge them improperly or if you treat them improperly. I've never had an issue, and I've been flying since 2005 electric, but the Li-ions are supposed to be significantly safer and not have that issue. Now, the only difference, and the other good thing about them is that apparently they're good for a lot more charges. I've heard up to 800 charges. Now, I don't think any of us are going to be flying that many flights. If you have 10 battery packs, you're not going to fly. That's a lot of flights,
Well,
8,000.
recharging these industrial packs, I have no idea how many times they've been charged. I have several, so they rotate through, but people use them day in, day out on the job site. And they literally, like, this is testimonial, they'll last well over a decade.
Yeah.
I mean that Jim Hoffman in. Go ahead, Jim.
My one exposure to lithium ion batteries and stunt ships, I noticed they got mighty warm after a flight. Is that your experience?
No, matter of fact, I was anticipating that, Jim, because somebody told me the exact same thing. And I was really surprised when I flew them and checked the battery pack that it was actually cooler than the light polys tend to get. Now, these packs have been broken in. I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but you're supposed to break them in several, in a certain way. And these had been broken in by somebody else. They were given to me by somebody else. I got 9 of them, and they run very cool. Now, that may have something to do with the amount of cooling I have in the nose of the airplane too. I got a ram. If you notice if Charles can hold that picture up again of the airplane, it's got simulated gear doors in the nose, and the nose gear comes down between those simulated gear doors. But between them, then I put a ramp that just sucks cold air right up onto the battery. So it's a big rush of cold air. Since there's no motor in there, to add to the heat, I think that amount of cooling air really cools the battery down much more than normal.
Well, the fact that you didn't use it very deep, that didn't hurt anything either.
That's true. Yeah. I'm not using them very hard, but I'm spinning two 10-inch props. That's 20 inches of disc span, and pulling a 67-ounce airplane, big airplane. Again, I put 1855 back into a 2600, so I'm not even working them hard.
Yeah. Is there a weight difference?
To the good side, a 6S 2800 Li-ion weighs about the same. 6S 2800 Li-ion weighs about the same as a 5S 2800 Li-poly. So you get more battery for the same amount of weight, or less weight.
There's about a 2-ounce benefit, let's say a 6S size.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's 2 ounces.
That's a lot.
Yeah. That twin, how big's your twin again, Bob?
It's about 680 squares. It's a big airplane, and it's a lot of mass to it, and it's got fixed gear. This one has fixed gear. Then the next one has 3 tracks like the original one. But it's a big airplane, and I figured it was going to eat up a lot more juice for that. So.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Gordy. Everybody here. Hi, Gordy.
Let me call Gordon. Let me call Gordon.
Calling again? Must not be important to hang up.
When we get a chance, Charles, if you want, I just got an email from Chris Cox about his activities this weekend that I could let everyone know on how the contest went.
I think Charles is taking a sabbatical here.
Okay,
yeah. So this is from Chris. Hopefully the Saturday luncheon went well. I was unable to attend as I attended the last 2022 Auburn Stunt Contest, and he managed to squeak out the win and expert. And then he's planning on going to Las Vegas in November. That'll be his last contest of the year. He's never attended it before, so him and Joan are looking forward to it. And I guess they got I don't know the James here, but Chris obviously does. Should also mention that James attended the Auburn contest with me and really got excited about getting back into the carrier event. Got to meet a bunch of old carrier friends that he hadn't seen for at least 15 years or more. And he has some ideas how to put together an effective carrier deck, less all the 4x8 sheets of plywood. We'll see it at Rice Mill Road next spring. And he noticed this morning that the Northwest 2022 Ringmaster Flyathon results are now posted on Flying Lines website. And according to the reports, 979 flights were flown in the Northwest. Can you believe that? That's a lot of flying with 65 different pilots. So sounds like it was a really good weather weekend and everyone had a good time down in Washington this weekend. And for you don't know, this is a holiday weekend in Canada. Today is our Thanksgiving.
It's our Columbus Day.
Yeah. Our the Ringmaster flights are getting kind of crazy here. Everybody's figured out how to make a minimum flight and just crank them numbers up. But my favorite story, I think Mike was telling us a couple of weeks ago about the combat flyer up in Detroit was flying a Ringmaster with a pen bladder and managed 45 flights with a pen bladder equipped Ringmaster, right? Which to me, he was like just barely filling it, getting it started up, run out to the center, fly it. And it was, that strikes me as crazy. So
what was he running? A ED?
He was running a S1 Ringmaster. I don't know what engine he had, but he
full
used
size.
it with
S1 Ringmaster with an OS-25. And I built the airplane and gave him the motor. But it's Ron Colombo. He's a legend, man. He doesn't do anything halfway.
Yeah.
That's his thing, man. He wanted to do 60 because he's 60 years old, but he just ran out of energy. He couldn't get it done. But yeah, he did 45 in a day.
Wow.
Which, that's just, and if you knew Ron, it's not surprising at all that he could do that. All right. But that's a whole lot, that's really impressive. And I got a note from somebody who set up their electric Ringmaster to do 7-lap flights, and they got, hundreds of flights off of that and everything like that. Well, okay, good for them. But that was pretty easy by comparison, so.
Yeah, welcome Gordon Delaney. Thank you, Gordon, for coming in. And Mark Wise, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to duck out for a little bit, Charles.
All righty. Anybody do any flying recently? All right, Jim and Mike. Go ahead, Jim. What'd you do? What'd you fly?
I went and flew one of my old time stunt airplanes.
Oh, cool.
I had mixed some new fuel. I hadn't flown the thing since probably VSC. So I mixed some new fuel and went down and took 3 flights, and everything was hunky-dory. I remembered all the maneuvers except I did AMA 8s instead of OTS 8s. Other than that, things were good.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
It was nice. No Ringmaster. I left the Ringmaster stuff at home.
So, Mike.
No vortex generators on.
No vortex. Yeah, old time stunt plane. And Keith, yeah, did you go flying, Keith?
Well, I went out yesterday, Sunday morning, with another guy. Jerry Higgins supposed to come out, and he called. He had a water leak in his basement.
Oh.
And then he had a note from Chris Brainerd that he ran his right index finger into a joiner.
Oh, ouch. My dad did that. And I remember my whole life, he never had this first point of his finger.
How's Chris?
He's supposed to go into surgery today, and I haven't checked with anybody about it. I've been gone all day. I haven't checked to see how it went. We'll see. But he's having to cancel out of Las Vegas.
Oh, that's too bad. So what plane did you fly?
What was my big job? Going to wear out someday.
So perfect. So you got the engine repair all set, and you got everything back on top.
Yeah. First, when I started running it after the new crankshaft, it was wanting to quit after a couple minutes, and I don't know. I think there's something. I should have checked the liner before I took it out, because the way it looked, the way the exhaust ports looked, the way the liner was, it wasn't centered right. Well, it's centered
Oh,
like I think it should have been. And so the thing is acting like breaking in a new engine.
Mhm.
And I'm getting past that now where it would get hot and quit and just whatever. But I'm getting steady runs now like I did before. And this morning or yesterday is cool. It's down to about 70 degrees. And I was almost able to get a vertical 8 done. But I can't lean over backwards 90 degrees like Dave Fitzgerald does. So still having trouble with my vertical 8s at this altitude. But I think, well, we did okay at Las Vegas last year with it, even with a cut finger. We still trophied with it last year, so we'll try again.
Michael Lonky, did you go flying, Mike?
We did. Sam and I, well, boring to you guys, but we went and tested a bunch of speed limit stuff yesterday. We tested and flew 8 airplanes for Huntersville, and happy to report they all flew well. The engines ran good. No real warps or problems. So we got our weapons ready for next weekend. And I'm working on some half A stuff right now. We only need to take like 3 or 4 of those for Huntersville. And we're going to go test fly the half A's tomorrow and stunt planes. Sam's going to fly his Vector 40 profile. And I'm going to put some flights in on the Axioma tomorrow.
Oh, very cool. So you got the lead outs done on Axioma.
I did. I got the lead outs done. I staggered them, and I made new lines for it too. Since I staggered the lead outs, I had to make new lines. Well, I didn't make new lines. I just, cut one 4 inches shorter than the stagger that I made. So.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
But we still have beautiful weather here. It's a little chilly in the mornings, but it warms up around noon, and then from noon till sunset, it's gorgeous. And I'm telling you, man, we have had 2.5, 3 weeks of just beautiful, beautiful weather here in Middle Tennessee. Not a cloud in the sky, no wind, no rain. I keep waiting for the bottom to drop out. I keep waiting for it to rain for 3 days straight and the winds to be blowing 30 miles an hour. But every day you just wake up and the sun is shining and it's beautiful. I don't know.
Oh, that is cool.
I wish you guys had some of the weather that we have right now, because it's been phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good.
Mark got some flying in.
Mark, you flew your S311? You got it done?
What'd you say, Bob?
I said you got some flying in over the weekend.
Yeah, matter of fact, I tried to log in on Friday from Will Davis's little trailer that he and I spent 3 nights in. I don't want that to sound wrong, but we were at Triple Tree, and I brought the Billy Werwidge, one of his original 3 P-47s that I got from Bob through Billy. And I had it sitting in my house for quite a while, pretty intimidated by it. And even though Bob had said, you got to fly it. And at Triple Tree on, I don't know what the first day I flew it, except for the Genesis, I think that Bob let me fly several years ago near his house. This is just a remarkable, remarkable airplane. It was one of the 3 that Billy made for the 2004 World Championships, Bob?
Well, he's had actually 5 B-47s now, and he made 2 of them at the same time. The first 2, you have the bubble canopy version of
Right.
one of the first 2 he made, and then the turtle deck was made at the same time. He built them both here, and that one was used at the World Championships in 2004. And the one you had was sort of a backup, and then it became sort of the test bed airplane for a long time, and then eventually he relinquished it.
It still has, it still looks incredibly good. I think Bob told me it had over 3,000 flights. It's covered in Japanese tissue. But one of the things I noticed when I was flying it, and I can't say I've ever seen this before, but I'm not as quality a flyer as some of you are. It's the first time I've ever flown a control line stunt plane that when I look down the lines, I can only see one wheel and one landing gear coming down. I mean, there's absolutely no yaw in that airplane. And I flew it, and a couple other people who are better than me flew it. We just could not make it do bad things. It's incredibly light for the size. It's built like Bob would build an airplane. It has a E-flite 25 that Bob converted from Glow, 4-cell 3900. Sorry to say it's still on steel lines, Dennis, but I'm just an old timer. And it's just a point and shoot. I will not get you in trouble airplane. It was one of the thrills of my life. It sounds cheap, but I mean that sincerely. So I'm hoping Bob and I could get together, do a little touch up on it. And he suggested that we upgrade the propulsion system. It has an old E-flite 25. I have a 3515 to put in it. It's right now on a Cuban timer, which I think is doing it disservice. But it's just a remarkable airplane to fly. And it was a great time down there. It was pure relaxation. I didn't bring a ring rat. I wanted to be as selfish as I possibly could. And I think I was successful. Mm-hmm. And of course, I had to put up with Will's cuisine because he cooked for both of us. So the first night we were treated to Elvis burgers, which I think, if I remember right, was a bun with bologna and cheese on it. Very healthy. But I think Will's specialty is actually breakfast. He makes the best pancakes around.
He does good pancakes, but did he make you eat liver mush in the morning? Have you had liver mush?
I love the guy, and he talked to me for years about liver mush. And several years ago, he made me a liver mush sandwich.
Me too.
All right. And
I ate it out of respect for Will. I tried it and ate it.
That's a lot of respect.
Well, yeah, you went further than I did. I put it in my mouth, and my digestive system said, "Don't even try." So while he wasn't looking, I spit it somewhere, and I think 3 bugs were killed.
Absolutely.
He's worth it. But on a more serious note, Will and I have talked about, and I have to, of course, talk to my comrades at Pampa. But one of the things that people seem interested in are regional Pampa stunt championships. And I felt the easiest way to do that is to take an existing contest that draws people and add backing by Pampa and make it maybe even a bigger event than it is. And he and I are talking about maybe the event that Mike is going to next weekend, and just pump that event up, and then find one in the Midwest and one in the West, and make those, whatever they are, but with the tagline of Pampa Regional Championships. So that's kind of a neat thing. We had a great time. I'm looking forward to going up near Allentown and visit Mr. Hunt. I know he doesn't get up till about 11 o'clock in the morning, but and more important than anything else, I almost accomplished something today after playing golf for 60 years, but I fell short, and that was shooting my age. I had the opportunity, finished bogey, and shot a 78.
Wow.
But I was 2 strokes off. The good thing is I have a birthday coming up in about 30 days, so it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah, you get one more.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, can I add something to Will Davis at Triple Tree at Joe Nall? For those of you who've never been, Will cooks breakfast every day for anyone who's there at Joe Nall.
And the Nationals.
Will is out there at his camper at 6 o'clock in the morning, frying bacon, frying bologna, cooking sausage, making liver mush, making pancakes, whatever. Will's a great guy, and he's out there feeding everybody every morning. If you go to Joe Knoll or Triple Tree, so
He is. And most of the people don't need first aid, which is really nice. But I have to tell you something about him, because he's such a great guy and a character. About the third year I got to know him, we got comfortable enough with each other that he's a good storyteller. And I guess it was my third year with him. And he said, you know, I was the Nats Rookie of the Year in 1991. I said, wow, really? He said, no. And then about 20 minutes later, he comes up with something about the VSC. And I said, that's unbelievable. I said, did that really happen? He said, no. So yesterday we're talking about presidents of the United States. And I happen to say that I've never seen one live, you know, and he said, oh, I have. And I said, oh yeah, here we go. Who'd you see? And he said, well, actually I've seen 3, but I shook Barack Obama's hand. Well, I couldn't handle that. You know, enough's enough. I might as well eat liver mush now. Well, I'll be damned if he didn't take a picture out.
Wow.
And there he was with Barack Obama at the Freightliner plant in North Carolina, where he's been for 37 years. And he said, you know, not everyone could. There was a limit put on by the Secret Service of how many people could be there when the president was there. Mike, you'll appreciate this. And I said, well, how'd you do that? He said, well, actually, we used a random number generator. I said, how'd that work? He said, well, we looked at the person's name and we said, no, this guy's an idiot. He's not going. And they just, and they went one by one until they got the group they wanted.
oh my God.
When you're around them, I don't want to take any more time. It's a fascinating story of what the Secret Service does before a president can come into a facility like that.
Well, look what we have to go through when you come in here.
Yes. You know, Bob, that solves the problem, because when I come on here, I swear I hear toilets flushing. I don't know if that's true or not.
Mark, have you taken your heart meds today?
Excuse me?
Have you taken your heart medications today?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay, just forewarning. I finally remembered as of 7 minutes ago to renew my Pampa.
But
well, I didn't know how to apply that 79 cents you were talking about. So.
Well, thank you. And Bob called me a few days ago.
I recruited
an old friend of ours has gotten back into Pampa. I do want to just add this little thing that, you know, the Nats timetable worked out, I think, very well. We lost the Saturday that we normally have, but we gained the prior Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So while the official date is the 9th of July, which is a Sunday, we're going to start before then. Now we'll get the word out. It may just be one day, but that's a committee that's with Derek Barry and John Parrish, of course, who's running the Nats again. So I think it ended up real well, especially for the 50th year of Pampa and the 100th anniversary of the Nats.
Where does control and scale fit into that now?
It's still the first event. Control line scale and RC scale kick off the Nats as they always do.
Yeah.
Okay. So all the events will be together. I think it's working out fine. So we'll get out the official schedule as soon as we have it. So Bob, thanks for saying hello. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. And let me ask Keith a question. This is from John Lytle. He says, question to Keith: if I have a rough landing, break a blade off my prop, and the blade leaves the plane, am I disqualified or not?
Oh boy. I think broken propellers are exempt from that. I can check real quick, but I think specifically broken props are exempt. Just a minute.
All right. And then Jack Snavely says, hello all around the world, just saying hi again. And he has these airplane stickers. And Edward Carlaw, he says, like sent. Thank you, Edward. I appreciate that. And Jack Fastnot says, is there such a thing as a perfect last time for a stunt plane?
It's a perfect what?
Is there a perfect thing as a perfect last time for a stunt plane?
Last time.
Last time?
Last time, like, you mean like a crash, Jack? Is that what you're saying? Like a crash? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what he says, but I think he's talking about a crash. I can't imagine the last time. If it's good, it wouldn't be the last time. I'd keep flying it if it was a perfect flight. I don't know.
Well, they do have an event where you got to crash into a barrel.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And what
I don't know. I think a perfect last time, perfect last flight for a stunt plane is when you take an old airplane that served you well, fly it one more time, you land, and you cut off the lead outs. I think that's a perfect ending. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more
I have a plane
if you made the last flight winning the Nats or the Worlds and then cut off the lead outs.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, well,
or do something like one of our guys did, and after he won the world championships, he went and broke up his pipe and buried it on the circle or something like that.
Yeah,
but that was pretty.
Yeah,
in Norway.
Yeah. Huh?
Was it in Norway?
No, it was Radek Kravali, Czechoslovakia.
Okay, almost Norway.
Yeah, we actually flew on that same pad where he buried the pipe. We didn't go looking for it though. So. That's where Paul Walker. They subsequent to that, they put in a asphalt pad, but it had like a 4 or 5 inch drop off on the edges. It was only 6 foot in diameter, and Paul.
Oh, great!
Paul had to back up when he fell off the back of it, rolled over backwards, still flying the airplane. His back was to the airplane, and then he grabbed it. He caught it and flew out over the clubhouses and ran back to the center of the circle. This was in a practice flight. And that's when Billy and I knew he was going to win that year. Because he saved the airplane,
Yeah.
Oh, I got some clarification. I believe it was just the autocorrect. He says, this is Jack Fastnon. He says, no, some have said a 5.2, second lap. So he's wondering about a perfect lap time for a stunt ship.
There's no perfect lap time.
It's what the plane needs.
The slowest lap time you can make work.
At our age, yeah.
And then T-Bone 1260, he says, I'm thinking he means lap time. Hello all, like provided. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. And then John Shukalek, he says, Jack was asking about the lap time. Yeah, I get it now. And then Jack Fastnot says, then Jack Fastnot says, sorry, last was a typo. Yeah, that happens with me too. So I feel you on that.
Actually, I think we all kind of figured it out. We were just having fun with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like their discussion. I like my story better. So
if you try to fly too slow, it will be your last time.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. I don't know. I had that discussion with our old buddy Bob Brookins last year at VSC, and he was fighting his airplane and trying to get the engine to run right. And gosh, I'm trying to fly it slow enough. Well, the engine wasn't running slow. All right, it needed to run faster. He said, well, if it runs faster, I can't keep up with it. I says, well, what you got to do is you got to adjust the engine so it's running comfortable, so it's running good. Then you adjust the line length so that the pilot is comfortable. All right. In other words, the engine has a comfortable operating RPM and the airplane a comfortable speed and stuff. And if you can't keep up with it, then your best defense is just to add line length. If the airplane's working good and the motor's running good, that's you're going to have that option, have that ability to do that kind of thing. But if you try to fly it all too slow and too short a line and stuff like that. You wonder why the airplane isn't flying, right? Well, that's what's going to happen. So
I came on here tonight for a specific reason. I was supposed to meet Jim Vorthold on here tonight. I understand he's been on a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me email him and see if he can come in. Just
yeah,
give me a second.
While you're doing that, Charles, can
Yeah.
I say a few things?
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of weeks ago, somebody asked the question and I apparently didn't hear it correctly. And he asked if I'd ever flown the 6 bits. And I was thinking the 2 bits, and I made a quick response. Yeah, the wings are over there and the fuselage is back there. Well, I realized, thinking about it and checking things out, that I hadn't answered his question. And it seemed like it might have been kind of a smart aleck. And for that, I asked for, forbearance on it. I haven't built the 6 bits. I do have a laser cut kit ready to build of the 4 bits, so it's just that I haven't done it yet. So that should answer the question, I hope, if he's on or if he sees this. Because I don't remember who asked the question.
I'm trying to remember how much there is 4 bits. Is that $1? So
That's half a dollar. Half a dollar. 50
half
cents.
$1. Okay.
50
He's
cents.
got his hand up there.
All right.
Who does?
Answer to the question about broken props.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
Under AMA competition regulations, under sanctioned events, which is almost half the book, paragraph, this is only part of it. Oh boy, lost already. Here we go. Yeah, 17.1. Models damaged in landing are not to be disqualified except for the safety reasons that may be determined by the contest director, but that's not what we're really looking for. In the same regulations, competition regulations under general, paragraph 3, damage to propellers. This is general, doesn't apply just to stunt, it's everything. Damage to propellers caused by striking a runway or other obstacles that result in a piece of the propeller being dropped do not constitute reason for the flight to be declared unofficial unless, in the opinion of the contest director, safety is compromised. So
Very good. Thank you very much.
Rules.
Now I know. Now there is a disqualification if anything falls off the airplane. That's flight, right?
I think the airplane or the flight is just declared unofficial and he's charged with an attempt.
Okay.
Not disqualified.
Okay. I have some more comments. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, the reason I mentioned that thing before about coming on tonight to see Jim Barnholt, he and I kind of had an announcement to make. Not that it means anything to anybody, but maybe to Jim Hoffman it might. Jim and I were talking. He lost his wife to cancer just recently, Pam, and he's also had some very bad hip problems. He had a hip operation, had that replaced, and he's actually feeling a little better. And we were commiserating about our collective back problems and leg problems and everything. And he said, we got talking about things we wanted to do. And one of his bucket list items was to go to VSC. He's never been to VSC, or he wants to go there. And he's not going to fly because he can't fly right now. But he wants to go out anyway. And I said, gee, I'd love to go to VSC too, but it's just too long for me, too much expense. He says, no, it isn't. He says, you get to Indianapolis here in March and we're gonna drive out together. So we made arrangements and we're gonna drive out together. And I called up my old friend Barton and I said, Barton, how would you like to have 2 of your old buddies bunk in with you for a week? He says, let me think about that, Bobby. Okay. And so we're gonna be staying at Barton's house, and which is I think about what, 4 minutes from the field, Jim?
Pretty close.
Pretty close to the field.
Great.
And we're really looking forward to it, So.
Wow. Well, that's enticing for me,
Outstanding.
to consider to
Well,
get
Jim Lynch has been there a couple times and he said that's the most fun he's ever had. So,
With his clothes on.
yeah.
Well, I've been there 22 times.
Wow.
Well, it's been a while. And I have 7 wins. And if I get one more, it ties Billy Werwich's number.
Oh, then you gotta go then. You gotta go.
Well, we'll be thrilled to see you guys. Come enjoy the week.
Yeah.
I'll put you to work.
No.
And
I'm going to not to enjoy myself.
you guys have the particulars. I think I posted them. And the flyer is out there. I haven't distributed it in detail yet.
I'll find it. Yeah.
I'll send you a copy.
So I'm building a brand new Caprice, although I may turn it into a Blackbird because actually the Caprice was nothing more than a restyled Blackbird, Gene Schaefer's airplane. And I have one new Caprice under construction and I have another one and I'm thinking about turning that into a Blackbird. I can make new tips now for it and the different rudder shape and turn it into a Schaefer Blackbird. Because I'm also bringing the USA Ama, so I'll have an old Gene Schaefer entourage,
All right.
Tell Warren. Warren has a Blackbird.
I know. I cut the wing for it.
I have another comment from the chat. Let me see here. Jack Fastnod, he says, is there a maximum line length at a contest or the Nats or maybe an AMA regulation?
Yep.
70 feet.
Center of the
Hand grip
handle,
to the center of the airplane.
Yep.
And then John Shukalak, he says, it would be interesting to hear each of your favorite lap times.
There's no such thing.
Depends on the plane.
The one that works best.
It's weather dependent. It's humidity dependent. It's wind dependent. It's everything dependent.
One that stops and starts in the same place.
Yeah.
I have to admit though that probably most times it's between 513 and 55.
That's a big range.
Well, yeah, because there's all those things that can affect it.
Yeah.
And then John Lytle says, thanks, Keith. And so we're all caught up. Did you guys see that post on Stunthangar about the oldest competitive flyer in Japan?
Yeah, 90 years old.
90 years old. That's a pretty.
Yeah.
90 years old.
Dennis, what do you have to say about that?
Well, my flying buddy is also 90 years old, but I certainly wasn't. I thought about it, but I'm going to celebrate our gentleman from Japan too. That was his thread, and we'll go from there.
That's fair. I think that's a good thing.
Maybe Lanny can send him a hat.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
talk to Lanny.
Lanny should sell him a hat. Yeah.
Honorary VSC 80+ hat.
I don't know. I'm going to lobby with Lanny. I'd like to get a training hat. I'm 68, but I'm training to be 80, so I'd like to have a training for 80 hat. All right. I don't know if Lanny would be up for that or not, but anyhow.
So something we're going to do at VSC to encourage geezers. Last year in Ignition, one of our geezer flyers asked if he could have a proxy pilot. And in the spirit of participation, I said yes. So we did that. And I'm going to make that a standard. I'm going to advertise that in that one event, if you want to have a proxy pilot, that is just fine. An Ignition old time stunt.
Can the proxy pilot be
have a
older?
geezer class?
Say again, Bob.
Can the proxy pilot be older than the guy who's asking for the proxy?
Certainly, he just needs to be vertical.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, that's an interesting concept, Jim, but what do you think? Are there any other pilots like that who might, who aren't flying ignition, who might be interested in, if they had an old classic airplane or something like that. Certainly it's the demonstration event kind of thing, but, that'd be interesting to see some of the old airplanes fly and stuff. So.
So is
Well,
that,
you're exactly right. We have a demonstration event if you want to do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as far as proxy pilots, it's just ignition, old time stunt at this time.
That sounds great.
so is that pilot of the model rule?
I'm going to share this picture of Mr. Minato. I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see it?
Oh,
Oh, look at that.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
90 years old. So
The one
Wow.
thing I
Another
noticed, he
image.
apparently flies with that cane. And I know Wes tried that because he's been battling his vertigo and everything like that, and it didn't work for him. But apparently it works for Mr. Minato. I don't know if he may need that just for walking around and stuff. But hey, man, celebrate the heck out of it. That's all.
yeah,
It's
that's cool.
interesting how
airplane,
small the
too.
flaps are on that plane.
Yeah, lots of taper in the wing, not much leading edge taper, small flaps,
Yeah,
but
pretty
it flies
plain.
good.
Pretty plain.
Nothing to take away from him, but Carl Shute flew VSC in a wheelchair one year.
Yes, he
Yep.
did. In a heavy wind with a belfry bound.
Yeah, and he did it by himself. He didn't have somebody pushing the wheelchair.
You know what was just as remarkable? He drove from Grand Junction to Tucson solo in that condition.
Wow.
That's
That
amazing, isn't it?
blew me away.
Yeah. Well, up here this year,
Uh-oh,
Gordon Van
uh-oh.
Dam had to fly with a cane.
Blow
It
up the
was,
hat, Charles.
What happened?
Blow up the hat.
Oh, hang on. I'm trying to get my monitor to work right. Did I do something, you guys?
No,
Okay.
There we are.
Oh, there we go. Awesome. Let me make you big, Keith. Hang on a second. Let's see here. Spotlight for everyone. There we go.
There we
80
go.
plus.
There we go.
Nice.
this was started at VSC a couple years ago by Lanny Shorts or David Shorts, one or the other. And it's not just VSC. It's a Pampa 80 plus hat. There we go.
Very nice. Very
Cool.
nice. Hopefully one day I'll have one of those, hopefully.
That's
And
it.
flying.
That's it. And
Well,
I think
last
the
year,
We ought to send one to the Japanese. He deserves that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be a
yes.
nice gesture.
that is so cool. Yeah, last year we had Gordon Van Tighem from Yellowknife fell down in the circle flying, and he was doing overhead eights to try and save the airplane, and Paul went out and got the thong off and flew out the airplane, but Gordon wouldn't let it get him down. So this year he brought out his cane, and he was flying with his cane this year. So
He's an interesting guy. He's been to VSC, I don't know how many times. And he's in Northwest Territories.
Yes.
yeah,
Yellowknife.
Yellowknife.
He's way up north in the Northwest Territories. And he
Well,
comes
that's close to the border.
he comes down there, he doesn't make much noise, doesn't demand much attention, flies pretty airplanes, does a decent job, and does it very quietly, just kind of a nice guy. And then you realize, hey, Gordon was here, and never says very much. Nice guy.
He was
You're
the
totally
mayor
right
of
about-
Yellowknife.
Would you say, Jim, say it again, please?
Gordon Van Tighem was the mayor of Yellowknife for several years.
Wow. Amazing.
Wow.
He loves
He
it.
was also honorary colonel of 440 Squadron up there, Royal Canadian Air Force for a time.
And he talks like he was a machinist or something.
Did the two residents of Yellowknife take turns being the mayor?
One was impeached.
My God.
Very good.
Now just have it up with ice pilots.
Very good.
Hey, Charles, I have an idea for us, after seeing Keith looking so sharp in that hat. I bet we all have a large quantity of hats. And it may be kind of fun to bring a few to each of these and look at each other's heads and see what kind of hats we have.
Or we could send them all to Keith.
We can send them to Keith. Yeah.
Have
Let
them
Keith
model
model them.
Yeah, same thing.
I don't wear baseball caps except this one. Yeah.
Although nowadays, I don't think Len and I want to wear the Mac hats.
No, I have one though. I
They're
don't
called
wear it.
back hats.
MAC, MAAC.
Oh, Mac hats.
Our governing body.
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
I get it now. Now I have a comment from Jack Fastnod. He says, "Do you know of any handicapped flyers, maybe even wheelchairs, as hard as that would be?"
Well, define handicapped.
That's true. Yeah. How about wheelchair? Any wheelchair flyers?
Well, just the aforementioned gentleman who flew at VSC that one year, the only one I know of.
Yeah, back in the 70s, we had one of our junior flyers that flew with Remy Dawson, was flying the pattern with his on his unicycle.
Wow.
Long before Chug did it.
Wow.
Different kind of handicap.
Yeah.
And we have a comment from National Free Flag Society. Love that hat. I'm pretty sure that must be the hat you was sporting there, Keith. Or it could be Bob Hunt's hat, his AMA hat. Could be that one too.
I doubt it.
And right now we have 23 likes and we have 29 concurrent viewers. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Please consider supporting us with some super chats. Those are very much welcome. And don't forget to also consider joining Stunthangar's YouTube memberships. That helps as well.
So I bought a new toy today.
You bought a new toy?
Yeah, my flux core MIG welder never welded worth a darn, and I needed to weld some sprockets onto some shafts I was doing, not model related, but I found the cutest little arc welder for $200. And you know what? 16 3/32 rod worked just fine. And Len will like this. Finally pulled it out of the package, auto darkening helmet, Lincoln. And I bought it several years ago and just hadn't done welding in a long time. And I think I paid about $70 or $80 for it on sale. And I saw it in the store today for $250. So I'm glad I bought it then.
Yeah.
That auto darkening, if you're doing any welding, man, go that route. Wow, I love it.
Very, very cool. I don't know how to weld. That's one thing I don't know how to do is weld. Let's see. We're all caught up.
There we go.
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Let me make it big.
See that, Jim?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got that VSC hat.
Nice. Very sharp.
Yeah, that's a nice hat. Yeah, I like that.
You need a tie to go with it.
Well, you told me if I was the event director, you'd give me one.
Yeah, very nice hat. I like those hats.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Yeah, mine is the dark blue one, not the denim, but I always go, man, I should have the denim one.
Jim told me this was a second, so I took whatever he sent me.
We had two versions, and we still have a few left. They
It's a nice
currently
hat.
reside at Shea Woolgast.
Well, Joe Mott, if you're listening, you should snag one of those hats before they're gone. They're nice hats.
They are.
Hey, Mark, speaking of goodies, I just checked the Pampa site, and I don't know if I'm into an old site directory or something, but do we have any of the decals or stickers or patches or anything like that available?
I do. I'd be glad to. I'll tell if you can get me your mailing address.
Sure.
I could probably
Actually,
find it. I don't have access to the roster, not yet anyway, but I'll be glad to send you. We have some Pampa pins. I have a whole bunch of decals. They're actually made by Brodak, but they have the Pampa logos on them, 3 of them. And then I have a couple of
Yeah,
patches.
it's
arm
little
patches.
triangle sticker type
Yes.
decal. I've found
Okay.
one of them.
Okay, no problem.
I'll send you a PM with my address then, Mark.
Anyone who wants
Thanks.
one who's a Pampa member can have one.
Is that what
Great.
PM stands for?
What?
Is that what PM stands for? You said to send you a Pampa member. Is that what that stands for?
Very good, Bob. You're
There we
great.
go. He never misses a beat.
There we go.
Oh,
There we
throw
go.
another hat.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, Keith.
This is from World Championships 2002, Sebnitz, Germany, what used to be East Germany.
Wow.
And the logo was designed by Klaus Mikus, who some of you may know. If you don't know the name Klaus Mikus, he was superb, a good builder, good flyer, designed a lot of airplanes, been published. And he did a 2 or 3 part article in Stunt News years ago on how to finish airplanes. And his airplanes, you could have 100 airplanes sitting on the field, and you could walk up to Klaus's and say this was his.
Wow.
I like that China Clipper model, I think, of his. Is
Yeah,
that right? China Clipper, I think it's called.
yeah. And this logo shows a looks like a duck, and he's saying, "Where's the wind?" Something like that.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you, Keith.
I like that.
Oh, now Dennis has one on here.
Oh, Dennis. So thank you. Me
Dennis.
make you big, Dennis. You guys keep me busy. All right. What do you got there?
No.
Oh, you don't have the mic. Your boom. You don't.
Oh,
It's
that's good. Just hold it.
FIA Control Line World Championships. What was that? What year is that?
1984.
84. Very nice.
Chicopee, Massachusetts. Yep.
Very
Hard
nice.
on was chief judge.
I was the assistant team manager for the United States team.
We can't hear you. Any words? We can't get the words, Dennis, because your mic is in your boom.
Big on us. He really liked collecting the pins at the Worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Had a couple of his hats, and every one of them is just loaded up with pins. So
Yeah, it's so cool.
let's see.
That is.
Yeah, you're right. We could do a whole session on hats, caps.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Anyhow,
It
yeah,
is fun.
doing hats. That was the closest one I could find. So.
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
Bob Whitney.
Yes.
I'll show you something as soon as I can get it larger.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's
That's excellent.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
There it is.
there we go. Yeah,
It's just hard for me to get it centered.
I understand.
Mhm.
Jump in there.
You got the smaller ones too. Perfect.
Yep.
Those are nice on a fin.
So anyone who wants one who's a PM can have one.
Are those decals or are they stickers?
They are sticky back. I believe they're clear.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's hard to tell, but they're not decals.
Yeah, not water soaked or water slide or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
They're stickers.
They used to have decals. I've got one on an airplane.
Yeah. Really, if anyone wants any, I have enough that I can send you guys some.
Very cool.
I'll take one.
Okay.
Well,
Good deal. Hey, Bob.
yo.
I
Yep.
saw your post on Stunthangar.
About
Gurney Flaps. Can you talk a little more about that?
no.
Okay, good. Thank you. No sticker for you. Come back one year.
No.
No soup for you. They're not actually Gurney Flaps. Now that I read a subsequent post that Frank Williams put up, and they're
T-strips.
T-strips. The Gurney flap apparently, I guess like a wicker bill, only goes one way off the end of the elevator or the movable surface. These go above and below. So these are T-strips. But he's got a good explanation of what they are and how they work, at least how he thinks they work, on that same thread.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, I put them on 3 airplanes now, and anybody tries to take them off, I'll break their arms. Really turned. Well, you judged the airplane the other day, and you could tell how much better it turned and locked. You know.
Yeah.
Where's Mark? There he is.
Well, apparently, we were talking about this down at Triple Tree. Some of the manufacturers of windshield wipers have these little protective guides on them when you buy them, and they seem to be just about a perfect size to put on a trailing edge.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Yeah, we purposing everything we can find, right?
Yeah.
It's the season, right? Change
I
wipers
repurpose
for
as much
winter.
as I can. If I see something I can
It is the
repurpose
season.
for flying or my shop, I'm all over it.
Are they flexible? Like, would they curve? And the reason I'm asking is
Yeah.
I'd like to try them on my Ringmaster 576 when I get it finished.
Yeah, they're fairly pliable plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not so sure you want anything that would bend in the airflow.
Okay.
That's true too.
Yeah, it might make some funny things happen.
How many people have tried them here on this board? What'd you think?
Now I'm trying to remember because it was a while ago that I tried it. I thought that the airplane tracked really, really well, but I found I had trouble keeping my loops the same size.
Huh.
That was my take on it. I couldn't seem to get the loops. Like I was struggling to try and make the loops all the same size, and I finally gave up on them.
Wow. I guess it's airplane dependent because I found them.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
I found them to improve the performance of the airplane across the board. Better tracking, better corner.
Yeah. Now I did it on the full span of the elevators, and about an 1/8 inch above and an 1/8 inch below the elevator.
That's about what I was using.
And the tracking was tremendous. It was unbelievable. Like I could hold that airplane level at the 5 feet. It wouldn't move an inch all the way around the circle, lap after lap after lap.
What about the lock after a corner?
Good. Good lock.
And it also improved the corner too, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Definitely. Yeah. But I really struggled with the rounds. It was so bad on the rounds that I gave up. I was like, I can't fly the rounds. I keep making one loop would come out at 5 feet, the next one would be at 7, and then I'd be back to 4, and it was just like I couldn't lock it in on the rounds. It was all over the place. It was weird.
And Jim wants to make a comment or has a question. Go ahead, Jim. Jim Hoffman.
I tried T-strips quite a while ago, and I didn't have any positive. I couldn't tell the difference except the huge amount of drag. And I tried full span T-strips, partial span. Didn't make a difference. So my airplane is either really, really good or really, really bad. And I couldn't tell a difference. But I have had success with zigzag tape. And I made some zigzag tape today. And I want to try it on a plane I have, an e-powered airplane that has a little bit of hunt to it. And I want to try some of this.
On the leading edge or the elevator somewhere?
On the leading edge of the stab.
Really?
Yeah. My Predators had that on since very early on. And Dennis Nunez ratified to me this week that he's had good success using zigzag tape to improve the hunting characteristics of e-powered airplanes. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try on a different e-powered airplane that has a little bit of hunt. I'm going to first try the zigzag. I already put it on tonight, the zigzag tape. And then I'm going to add some T-strip or maybe 20 thousandths worth of tape at the trailing edge and play around with that.
So I put that zigzag tape all over my airplane, the wings and the tail when it first got to be the vogue, and it didn't do a darn thing. I took it off and I think the airplane flew better without it. But the T-strips made a difference. So I think it's really airplane dependent. Each airplane may need a different thing.
I think so.
You're right.
This weekend, Callentine put some strips 20,000 strips on the trailing edge of his elevator. And he thought it helped.
Yeah.
And I said to him, you know what? Even if you think it helps, that's
helps.
enough. It's psychological advantage.
That's true. That could be an advantage. That could help. It's a lot about how you think.
He thought it
Placebo.
locked out of the corners better. Turn and stick.
We should name that airplane the placebo.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, Bob, because I can't afford any drag on my airplane. I'm using so much of my battery. I just can't. I don't have the luxury to add anything. Keith, you have a comment, Keith, or a question?
Yeah, a question for the collective experience of the competition flyers here, and there's probably hundreds and hundreds of years of competition experience represented here. Let's talk about old time and classic stunt designs. And then somebody comes along and puts on these Gurney Flaps or whatever they're called, or these strips on the elevators or leading edges on a classic airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Is this going to be considered an appropriate thing to do?
Is it okay to put on a trim tab?
Well, it's done and nobody says anything against it.
There you go.
But another instance, though, is I know a couple people tried putting a tuned pipe on a classic airplane, and that didn't go over very well, and that's just not done.
That's not a trim. That's not a trim issue. That's a power plant issue. And now they're using electric airplanes out there, and no one seems to mind.
You kind of can't go there, can you? Because otherwise, then they wouldn't allow you to use an electric motor in old time either.
Well, there were electric airplanes in the old time era, but they ran the power off the lines too, and that wasn't very successful. But people did it.
Right.
There were airplanes in old time designs.
Oh,
I would think at this point we're probably more interested in getting participation than we are in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, is that Jim Hoffman in? Go ahead, Jim.
I've struggled with this because I've thought about the day that happens to me.
Yeah, and you're going to have to maybe contend with that next spring.
I know. And I have thought about trying these devices on my old time stunt airplanes in private, but not bring them to a contest that way, but just for the engineering experience. But I do think about the common precedent of, the S1 Ringmaster and the fact that you can't have a sheeted leading edge. And the rationale I've always been told is, well, you're changing the airfoil, just that structure changes the airfoil. And that is enough to DQ, a lot of these kitted Ringmasters that aren't S1. So with that precedent,
if you put triplater strips, you're changing the airfoil.
Yep. So with that precedent, it really gives you pause to accept these other widgets.
Well,
I can speak out of both sides of my mouth, though, pretty well. And I also want to err on the side of more participation. So my strategy would be to not DQ you, but to have such public ridicule pushed upon you as to solve the problem.
Well, maybe I won't be going to VSC this year.
Let me welcome Walter Umlin to the party.
Guys.
Hey, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Walter.
Good to see you.
I was just literally about to ask if anyone's heard from you and how you're doing.
I am doing fantastic.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I am
good.
Can I speak health for a minute?
Please do. Just for a minute.
Sure.
Okay, just for a minute. Time of going. Well, I've been to the heart doctor. Everything is great there. I do have congestive heart failure, an AFib, and a flutter, but I'm not apt to die right away because whatever it is that people worry about with heart problems, I don't seem to have it. I've lost 62.5 pounds in 2 months' time.
Wow.
Everything seems to be going great. Tomorrow I'll be getting knee shots, and those are with a different type of medication. So those are actually lasting 2 to 2.5 months instead of 4 months like they project. Well, I shouldn't say that. The last round of knee shots lasted me 4 months plus what I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. So that's another 2.5 months on top of it. Now I have experienced bad pains in the knees, but it has actually lasted a lot longer than the 4 months. And I will not be telling the doctor that because he'll be waiting 6 months to get the next round of shots. But everything is going really, really well.
That's
Good to hear.
Okay.
That's good. Good news.
Really, really well. And once I get the knee shots, I should be able to stand up a little more and use my motorized scooter less because I'm literally using that in my house every room I go through except the bathrooms. So just can't fit them in there. We have small bathrooms.
Very good to hear, Walter.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
So I've actually made it under
Good to
the
hear, Walter.
400-pound mark.
For you.
Good for
You
you.
know.
Good stuff. Yeah,
I have a-
Walter.
I have a question from the chat box. Hang on,
But-
Bob. Jeff Riley asks,
Hindsight
if you
day, people
sheet
wonder
the,
how you.
he's hang on a second. Must have a bad connection for Bob Whitley.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff Riley says, if you sheet the leading edge of a ringmaster, wouldn't that make it an S2?
1A,
He said S2.
S2.
Yeah, it would.
I believe the S1A was the sheeted one, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it also has a different airfoil.
No, I don't think so.
Uh,
I
thought
don't
it
know
had a
that.
different
I don't know
airfoil.
that. I don't know that. I think it did have a trailing edge issue, didn't it? It lost the reflex in the trailing edge or something like that.
Dennis,
I'm not
it's-
totally
it's-
sure. But
It's fatter. The Estes S1A has a fatter airfoil,
It is clearly different then. Oh, okay.
100%, and it has a sheeted leading edge.
Mhm.
I've built several of them. The ribs are
Interesting.
much fatter on the Estes S1A. Yes.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I have one and I thought it was thinner. The Estes. I have an S2 or S1A. I guess it's the same thing. And mine seems thinner, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I've got an S1 and an S1A hanging right here. I can look at them and check, but the S1A definitely flies better because it's got a thicker airfoil. That's why it's not old time stunt legal, because they
Okay.
changed the airfoil on it and it has a sheeted edge.
So to answer Jeff Riley's question, is that in the affirmative or a negative? His question was, if you sheet the leading edge of a ringmaster, wouldn't that make it an S2 question mark?
Yes.
Well,
Yes,
S1A, I don't know what
S1A.
an S2 is.
I think the answer is we don't
It
know.
would be a hybrid. It would be a hybrid between them, but the sheeting of
yeah.
it changed the airfoil, and that would be in old time rules.
well,
No.
here's a funny thing. When John Brodak started making kits, he took the powwow and I believe he changed something with the ribs or cap strips or leading edge, and they had to name it the Ascenter, and therefore making it not old time legal.
Tanager or something like that, was it?
The Ascenter,
Okay. What was
Is
the
it-
tanager?
wasn't that a
Different-
profile?
Yeah, the
I think it was a
tanager is a
Carl Goldberg
profile center,
Two-string or something.
but I thought that those were still, I have to go back. Tony Dragos told me that those are both legit. The Brodak versions, he renamed them. I don't know if he had to rename them or he chose to rename
I
them,
believe
but-
he had to rename it to the Ascenter,
Okay,
thus
okay.
making it not old time classic
Okay,
legal.
it was even
Powwow.
deeper than that. The Ascenter and the Tanager were based on Tony Drago's Super Powwow, which was 10% bigger or something like that. That was the difference.
That could be the difference,
And
but I know we
so
couldn't
the,
use
those
it.
airplanes are both now Nostalgia 30 legal, but they're not, absolutely not classic legal.
Right, okay.
Okay.
They're not powwows. They're based on the powwow, but they're different they are clearly different airplanes. That's what it was. So
Well, the powwow by itself is classic legal.
exactly.
Yes.
But the super powwow was not, which, you know, when John bought Tony's businesses, he bought those airplanes and renamed them. And the profile, Tony never had the profile as a
No.
regular kit, but crap.
I don't
gotta go
think he
back.
had,
He sent me notes on that, but it is old enough, the profile version, the Tanager, it is old enough to be counted as a Nostalgia 30. So
John Miller, you had a question and then or comment, and then Bob Whitney, excuse me. You want to try again what you were saying after?
Okay, well, I didn't want to bust into the conversations, but I just wanted to let you know that Bob Whiteley's Things That Work is on my site on Stunthangar Vendors Corner.
oh,
Okay,
super.
cool. Yeah, very nice. And then go ahead, Bob Whitney.
Yeah, I was just wanting to pass along to Walt the guys up here on our Alberta Control Line site. While I was thinking of them today, in fact, it was posted. Some of them wondering how you were, and you know that your site was down or whatever. So they were really concerned about your health. So
I'm alive and kicking with gusto.
All
Good.
right. Very, very good.
That's awesome.
when you're up to it, I'll have to order some chipmunk canopies from you.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I'll order some. I'll have to order some.
There you go.
Not a rush on it. I just wanted to get
No,
a couple.
that's all right.
Get back working on my chipmunk.
Yeah. So how's Mike doing with those ringmasters?
Yeah, I just looked. Len, I guess I'm a liar, man, because the S1A, I know for a fact, the last one we built was in Estes
Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah.
Ringmaster. It is not a sheeted leading edge, the Estes one.
One of them.
Well, my Estes one is. The Estes one I have is sheeted.
So that, and this is where I want to go with this. I remember building a couple of sheeted leading edge ringmasters back in the 80s or somewhere.
That's right, yeah. They came out with that one in the 80s. That's right.
Somewhere in there.
Yep.
But the last one I built is an Estes kit, but it is not sheeted. So
Go figure.
it wasn't an original Sterling kit. This was absolutely an Estes kit that we just built last year for the Ringmaster Roundup.
Not wild.
And it's not sheeted, but it was, I want to say it was at an S1A. Now, maybe there is an S2 or some other version.
Yeah, I believe that the one I have, the sheeted one, is considered to be an S2. That's what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah, except an S2 is a P-51 Mustang, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sterling too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll duck and check my plans. I might have plans for both of them in my file here. I'll take a look.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Estes
Estes took over the Sterling properties and everything like that. It's possible that they could have continued making the Ringmaster as it had been. Then, in a fit of inspiration, they may have modernized it.
Yeah, see the one I got it from a friend, and what it was that it was a Ringmaster, but it wasn't in the original box, and it had a picture of a yellow and black Ringmaster on the Sterling box.
Okay.
Yellow and black or yellow and blue?
Hang on, you guys. Let John Miller in.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, I definitely remember when Estes first brought out their first Ringmaster, they upgraded it to the S1A. They had the sheeted leading edge. People started flying it, trying to fly them in old time, and there's a big stink made over it. And they said, no, it changes the airfoil, and it's not going to be legal in old time. And so Estes wound up in the end building the S1. And that's
So
what's
they went
available.
backwards on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Len is correct. So the Sterling Ringmaster that has the correct airfoil for the Estes version, it's a yellow and red airplane on the box. The one that has the sheeted airfoil on the box is a yellow and black airplane.
That's the one.
That's the one that has the sheeted.
That's the one I have. Yes.
Sheeted leading edge, but it also is a thicker airfoil, I believe.
Okay.
It sounds like the Spectra discussion.
Almost.
And Jeff Riley.
All
has
right, I can't
commented-
stand it. I'm gonna go get it and we'll do some measurements.
Well, yeah, you made a liar out of me because I just, like I said, I just built an Estes last year for the Roundup.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I looked and it's not a sheeted leading edge, but Estes
Okay.
made
Good.
two versions.
Yeah,
They-
two versions. And I
Yeah.
remember the plans in the black and yellow one were crappy. They were really crappy plans.
Yeah, but the sheeted leading edge one is actually a better airplane. It's
Oh
stronger.
yeah. Oh, it flies good too. It flies like Naomi has one, and we fly it every year at the Ringmaster Flyathon. It's the best flying Ringmaster we have, or one of the best anyway, for sure. Because it's lighter and the wings very light. And I've always said to her though, don't really dork it because if you do, we won't be putting it back together.
Go get it. Let's check it out.
All right, hang on.
I have a comment from Jeff Riley who says, Mike, those were Sterling S2 kits shown on the box in black and yellow.
S2. But what Dennis is saying, the S2 was the Mustang kit.
Yeah, the
right?
Sterling S2 was the
I
Mustang.
agree. I agree with Dennis.
And
Well, unless somebody has one of these black and yellow Ringmaster kits that we can actually see what the number is on it.
I think what they're talking about is the box. The first version of the Ringmaster S1 was a yellow box with basically a black and white photograph of the Ringmaster. Now, if I could share my screen with you guys, I'm looking it up on eBay. And how do I show this again?
Yeah, just go to the bottom of the screen, hit the share button, and then, but you want to bring it up
Share
first.
screen.
Yeah.
Share screen. Share that screen. Okay, this is what I think they might mean by the
No.
yellow. See it?
No, because that's a Sterling kit. We're talking about Estes kits. Estes is the one that made the sheeted leading edge, not Sterling.
Actually, Sterling did first. Sterling came out. It was, if I remember, it was a colored box. Let me see. S1.
Well, that might be why Estes first Ringmaster had the sheeting leading edge, because when Sterling shut down, perhaps they were still making the sheeted leading edge version, and they just continued with it.
So the S1A was brought out by Sterling before they sold to Estes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's as far as I remember. Because when I was younger, I remember building one and I mangled the wing like crazy. Because I wasn't familiar with that kind of building other than in combat. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, meaning a tapered trailing edge with a sheeted leading edge was with that kind of construction. I wasn't familiar with until I built a sneaker. But it wasn't a sheeted leading edge.
I'm
just curious, when they did the sheeted leading edge, did they also get rid of the log leading edge? Did they replace it
Yeah,
with
it's
a dime?
just it's just a spar at the front. It's just
Okay.
a spar at the front, like a normal D-tube wing.
Yeah, okay, it's just a diamond, whatever.
Yeah, it's just
And-
like a square spar basically at the leading edge.
So
like
I
a
could see them
1/4 inch
modernizing it and taking, if you will, taking some money out of it at the same times that those those shape leading edges would have taken a lot of machining. They could have got rid of the shape leading and trailing edges, replaced them with sheet surfaces, and made a better kit out of it. So
I have a comment from T-Bone 1260. He says, I have a Sterling S1A in the box, and it is the sheeted version. He says, I have it. And he goes, I bought the S1A in the 80s, never built.
That's Tom.
Okay.
That's Tommy Luciano right there. T-Bone. That's Tom Luciano.
Right. Yeah. So he says he has one.
So it was Sterling, or I'm sorry, it was Estes that
No,
did
it was
it.
Sterling that come out with the sheet.
Oh, it's Sterling. He said, okay, all right.
The thickness of the high point looks really close. I thought they were different, but they're very close. They're within a mil of each other that I can see.
What do you got there, Len?
Okay, so here's the one with the sheeted leading edge. You can't see much, but
No, but doesn't it have like a diamond shaped leading edge? Much pointier leading edge?
it's a little, yeah, it seems pointier on the leading edge. There's the wing of that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to show you the leading edge of a regular one. I
Yeah,
can put them both. I can put them both up.
It's a changed airfoil as far as I'm concerned.
Hang on. Let's see if I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the sheeted one is thicker, Len.
Just a hair.
Yeah.
And the original one has a reflex in the rib towards the trailing edge.
And you can see that the sheeted one is more pointy at the leading edge.
yeah,
For sure. Definitely more pointy as opposed to the other one, which is rounded.
Hmm.
But the actual high point is very close. They're not too much different.
And just to throw a little bit more into it, I dug out my plans for the original S1 and the Pat Johnson Plus one, which I think might be the S2, I'm not sure. And the root airfoil is exactly the same thickness, but it's a different construction technique.
Okay.
So what do we think happened at the end of Sterling producing them? They made the sheeted leading edge.
Right.
And then when Estes got control, they went back to the original airfoil.
No, they produced the sheeted leading edge, and people wouldn't buy it because they couldn't fly it in old time.
Yeah, this is a better view of it.
And so
yeah, that's
because they would, they didn't want it.
Thank you very much, Lynn.
They went back to the S1 because that could be flown in old time.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't they do away with it, John?
What?
Didn't they do away with it?
No, they produced the S1 for a while, and then they shut down their model airplane stuff and went back to their rockets.
Oh, you're making me jealous there, Dennis.
Look at that.
He got, oh man, the real
hang
deal.
on, let me make it big, Dennis. 1 second.
He's got the real McCoy. Look at that. Oh no, that's something totally different. What's
I
that?
give you $29.95 for that right now.
Customized ringmaster. Oh,
hey Walter,
Look how
if you gave me $29.95, that would be a profit over what I paid for it. So.
I know that's.
Look how the pilot's holding his hand.
Len, have you never seen that? Show him the first picture.
I've never seen
No,
that. That
the
is
other
wild.
way. The other way.
Mm-hmm.
Show him that one.
Look at that.
Wild.
And then that one. You can build that.
Contest.
You can build that kit.
About modifying the ringmaster.
Yeah.
And then the top winners, they show in that kit how to make what the top winners look like.
Wow.
Maybe
isn't that
Keith
cool.
Maybe Keith can clarify this. Was it Walt Williamson that did the article in American Modeler about the ringmasters customized to look like flying people?
Right there. It's on the box. It's the first picture. The guy.
But was it Walt Williamson that did that?
I'm not sure, Bob. I couldn't say for sure.
Now,
that
was on the cover of American Modeler years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I think it was a magazine article before it was this kit.
That kit. You can build every airplane, well, any version, all the parts to build any one of those airplanes is in that kit that he's.
That is so cool. Wow.
Yes,
You want to laugh? That customized kit that Dennis is holding is literally a stock S1 kit, with the exception of the plans and decals.
Yeah, the plans are huge. They got all of these different variations on it. They got stunt planes. You got extending the wings, shortening the wing, chopping the fuselage, 2 fuselages,
that.
Now,
and of
are
course the
all of
flying
those old
man.
time legal?
No,
I don't think so, Al.
I think
it'd be
so. The
classic
kit
legal.
came,
though.
I think classic legal. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think they're all old time legal because it's an S1 kit.
No, they're modified to.
The kit came out post old time, so I don't
Did
think
it?
you could. I don't think you could get there from here.
Okay.
Look at that second one there. It's got the rudders kind of reminiscent of the big job.
Yeah, the twin rudders.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That
I
I
was
always
doing
thought that
CAD
looked
work on
great.
those.
Yeah, the swoopy rudders, twin rudders. I always thought they looked great.
Well, when that kit comes up on eBay, they're about $350 they sell for every time they come up, unmolested.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent shape. Yeah. You great.
Hey, Dennis, I'll give you Keith's hat if you give me that.
Do I have to wait? Do I have to wait another 12 years before I wear it?
John Wright showed up at a contest with
That's
one of
very
those
cool.
ringmasters, the one on the left. He had one.
Oh.
He flew
Oh,
it.
the man.
Yeah, John Wright
Yeah.
in Southern California.
Yeah, Banjock has one. He flew it at Brodax.
Mhm.
One of our guys in the Balsa Beavers has one.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty cool.
I had
Yeah.
no idea that existed. That is wild.
Like that twin boomer back there.
Yeah, that's the article.
It's the American Modeler Annual,
Show Keith.
1962.
1 second. Let me
Now that twin boomer, has it got two engines?
let's see here.
Yeah, that's a twin fuselage.
Isn't that
Keith,
something?
big there.
Wow.
There
Oh,
you
wow,
go.
Keith, that's cool.
Wow.
That is cool.
And who did the article?
I'll find out.
Was it Walt Williamson?
I'll find out. Give me.
See, you guys know
it.
my dedication digging out those plans. I had to move 6 models to get at them.
Wow.
Not to be political, but it is model airplane related. There was somebody about 6 years ago on one of the control line sites that built ringmasters like that. And I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been on the Flyathon site, the Facebook page, could have been on our group. It may even have made its way to Stunthangar, but he did a Trump ringmaster with the big head, and he did a Hillary
That's
with the
cool.
big head. So
I
he-
think,
he built-
yeah, I think those are both on the Brotherhood of the Ring site. I think.
yeah, he did both. He did Hillary and Trump with the big faces on the front.
I think they fly them in classic illegal.
Like
I think they flew them in combat. I think they were flying combat with them, is what they were doing.
Wow.
Let me
Classic
welcome Bob
illegal.
Gore. Thank you, Bob, for coming in. Appreciate
Yes.
it.
Hey, Bob.
Well, I wish somebody had one of those black and white, black and yellow boxes that we could look at and determine if that was the last Sterling
Yeah,
kit
that was the last Sterling kit, I believe.
that had
I
the
don't-
sheeted leading edge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had one. I sold it on eBay a couple of years ago, so I don't have it here to look.
Right.
You don't remember the color of the box?
I just remember it was a black and yellow airplane in the picture. And then the Estes Ringmaster we just built does not have a sheeted leading edge. I think it went back to closer to the original.
Okay.
Tom Luciano says, ironically, I think I bought the S1A at John Miskey's hobby shop.
Wow.
And then Philip Bailey, he's giving us a like. Thank you, Phil. And then Gerald Wimmer says, hello, Charles, and all those on Stunthangar. The customized Ringmaster plan is on eBay here.
Hey, tell Tommy to get on here and show his kit so we can see it. I want to see the picture
I
of
was
it.
thinking that. Yeah. Tom, why don't you
Yeah.
come on in? I know
Yeah, if he's got the picture, let's see the box.
That's funny because when that airplane came out, there was a big thing about it in flying models and stuff. You know, they used to have the picture of, oh, new and improved Sterling Ringmaster, blah, blah, blah. And it was in there, and the picture of the box and the airplane and the whole bit. And it came out around the same time as things like the Gieske Nobler that Top Flight did and the Tudor and all that stuff. They were all in around that same time.
I know I built it.
Around 80.
I know I
along the
built
line they got called the stunning ringmaster, the stunting
That's-
ringmaster. Now
that's
was that still on Sterling's watch or was that on Estes?
That's Estes. Estes called him the Stunting Ringmaster Pro 35.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
I
they
never
called
saw
it
that.
They called it the Stunting Junior Ringmaster 19.
Yeah, Mike Griffin was doing the Stunting Ringmaster 19. You know, he was
Okay.
Estes called him the Stunting Ringmaster, and then with the size of the engine.
Okay.
Tom Luciano says it's at my dad's. I'll grab it tomorrow.
Okay. Tell him to bring it to Huntersville and sell it to me.
Friday night.
Have you guys seen the little Ringmaster bike that some guy cobbled together? It's really good looking.
Okay,
Yeah.
did you want one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yes,
get you.
I remember
that.
seeing it flying. There's a little short video of it flying, right?
Yeah, one of our guys built one of those. I did a whole pattern with it. I mean, it was sloppy, but I got it through a whole pattern. This was years ago.
Let me
we
make
go.
Keith big here.
Here we go.
What do you got there?
There you
Keith? Oh,
go.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
It gives credits to a Dave Holland in Ohio.
Dave Holland, yes.
He
Dave
did a
Holland.
series of these, 3 different airplanes, 3 different issues of American Model magazine, according to this.
Yeah, Dave Holland. Now I remember the name.
There's 3 men, right?
Yeah, there were 3 different men. Says here there was a skydiver, and Uncle Sam, and Dennis the Menace.
Uncle Sam, that's right. Uncle Sam.
Dennis the Menace. I never saw that one. I don't know if I saw that one. I have the plans on my outside computer, but I haven't been out there in a while.
And December 59, April 60, May 61, and there was a Yogi Bear that's flying in Ohio around that time too. So
When was it done, Keith?
well, this annual was 1962, and this article says Hobby Helpers was going to do full-size plans right after that. So maybe AMA Plan Service might have plans for this thing.
So I guess Dennis was right that it's classic, not old time.
Well, for this
Based on that,
yeah,
based on that publication.
too, yeah.
Huh. Well, I
And-
know I'm not a real modeler because I've never had a full-size Ringmaster. I've just had a kit of the baby and a scratch-built baby that I have now, but I've never had a S1.
If
You
anybody
gotta
wants-
have one of those. You've never flown control line.
Oh, I've flown them, but I've never had one.
Oh, okay.
If anybody wants to chase it down, I'm sure AMA Plan Service would have it and be reference Hobby Helpers Group Plan AMA 620. So there it is.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
These S1 plans and the Pat Johnson ones I got from Hip Pocket. Just downloaded them, had them printed.
If I can get this
Yeah.
in.
I haven't noticed on the more modern ones that
Oh,
the
Uncle-
pants on it and so, or whatever that is, connecting the wing and the stab, or the body, I guess, the horizontal piece. I haven't noticed that.
John Wright did something like this and flew there in Southern California for a while, just for fun, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That Uncle Sam was really cool. Keith, how were you able to pull that one magazine out of the thousands of magazines you have and just be able to find that Ringmaster magazine?
I don't have thousands of magazines. I got one file cabinet drawer filled up with magazines that I just wanted to keep. And one section of that is all the American Modeler or Air Trails annuals and the Model Airplane News annuals. And they're on all in one section. And there this thing was. So,
How much did you want for that magazine?
I don't think he's selling that.
Yeah. Plus, he's secretly planning on building one of those in case that, what you call it, that other thing doesn't work out. So,
yeah, that other thing.
yeah, I can't even think of it. The Mathis airplane. I can't even think of the name.
The Mathis airplane just got its last coat of white on it yesterday, and I start the trim for the black pinstripes tonight, tomorrow.
What are you doing?
That's
An
great.
Excalibur?
No.
Oh, it's a called Chiseler.
What is it?
A Chiseler.
Chiseler,
yeah.
thank you.
Oh, the Chiseler.
You've never
How
seen
many is it?
This will
What
be
number Chiseler is this?
number 6.
Wow.
What paint scheme are you doing that you got white and stripes?
Well, I'll show you what. That's how it looked like.
He's gonna do it in the Oscar Wienermobile scheme.
That Chisler's one cool looking airplane. I just love
Sure,
the tail.
torment me. I lost 62 pounds. You're going to torment me with a hot dog.
No, that's what that airplane looks like. It looks like an Oscar Wienermobile.
Yeah, it does remind me of that too, Bob. I have a comment from Philip Bailey. It says, didn't the box have red and yellow and it had a clear plastic canopy?
There was some
I think that's what we've
Ringmasters
been
with
talking
clear
about.
canopies.
Red and or red and black versus yellow and black, and the clear canopy. I had an S1 Sterling S1 way back when that had a clear canopy that bought in the early 1960s.
I think my original baby Ringmaster had a clear canopy also, and that really hideous aluminum motor mount.
Does anybody remember the contest that Sterling ran to guess how many Ringmaster kits have been sold? And this is around 1959, 58, 59. Anybody remember that?
I
It took
remember, but I
seventh
don't
place.
remember.
It took
Wasn't even
seventh
born.
place. It took seventh place in that contest with a guess of 250,000. I was way low.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, impressive.
Didn't they sell like 1 million of them, Bob?
Well, I'm probably well over.
I had mine back in '62, I think.
I remember my prize was a Sterling, I think it was called the Viking.
Oh, yeah.
No, it wasn't the Viking. It was the Maverick. It was a
Maverick, yeah. Okay, the
Maverick,
solid
yeah.
wing.
No, that had a built-up wing.
It did have built up. Okay.
Yeah.
Jim's got to go. Thank you, Jim, for coming in. Appreciate it, buddy.
See you, Jim.
See you, Jim. Thanks
Good
for
night.
the
Good night.
Good
See you
night,
in
Jim.
March, Jim.
So long.
I have a comment from Gerald Wimmer. He says, here in New Zealand, all versions of the Ringmaster are legal as pre-1970. You can also enlarge them so that the Ringmaster 576, etc., are legal too, as the shape stays the same regardless of construction.
Well, I like their rules. You want to know who's a stickler for rules?
Yeah.
Tampa.
Great Britain. Those
Yeah.
guys, they got points if you got the right engine, the right wheels, the right lines, the right tank. They really get into it, you know, and good on them for doing it. But oh man,
That's authenticity.
yeah.
I don't know. I showed up at Cleveland here, flew old time with my my airplane. It came from a laser cut kit. I built it with electric, covered it with monocoat, and flew it on Spectra lines. I was partying like it was 1950, baby. So
That's
I
funny.
still think when I do that belfry bound and I get around to ordering it, I
Keith is
definitely put
showing-
my Sparker 60 in it.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Look.
Oh,
Oh,
I remember
Ooh.
that one. I remember
Yep.
that one.
That's the nose
Wow.
part. Cow
You
part.
broke the nose off.
Well,
he knocked everything off.
yeah, the wings.
Oh, it's a
Someone's
total
gonna have
take
this
apart.
color scheme.
Okay.
Yeah, total take apart, right? So
It's a
Is that the one where the clevis came apart?
No, the upline, I finished a pattern at 6 feet
He's
high,
talking
and
about-
the upline just broke. And from
Hmm.
6 feet, it hit straight down. Didn't even break the prop. Full
oh.
wow.
There's tail
Those
end.
things, watching them turn a square corner was amazing.
Now,
Something
doesn't that
about
look like
those-
an Oscar Wienermobile on the
Yeah,
back?
it definitely does. I agree. I agree.
When I was flying this thing in Tucson, Bob Whiteley was flying a Shark 35, and he would beat me most of the time. Sometimes when he wasn't feeling good, I could beat him, but I had to put something on this thing to show. He was
All
flying.
right, cool. Very cool.
I screwed it up.
That's going on my next one as well.
Oh, very cool.
All the parts and pieces. This is what it looked like when it's all together.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, that was a good looking airplane.
Wow.
So
So Bob Hunt, did you have a bit of influence from that when you did your Genesis tail? There's kind of a big semblance there.
he has no tail.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, I don't. Actually, the Genesis sketches were started many years before I actually built the Genesis, and I think it actually was even before Dick Mathis built that. That was in what, 67?
66.
He designed
Oh
that.
yeah.
66 in Chicago, and
And I
that
had
one
already
was
been
even
studying.
orange, like the Oscar Mayer, but
It was red.
the
Red-
later one was prettier. It was all painted.
Red jet tissue when he first showed up, and that was oh boy,
66.
64, 66, yeah, in Chicago. And
Yeah, I wasn't sure, was the 67 airplane a new airplane, or did he just paint the tissue one?
the same one.
Just painted the tissue. Okay.
The
Put
red
wheel caps on it.
and painted put wheel pants on it, and is red, white, and blue, the dark blue.
Mhm.
Well, regardless, that and the Genesis are both mighty fine looking airplanes.
Oh, thank you.
Well, there's something about that no perceived vertical tail. Whiteley and I talked a lot, and we never did really come to any kind of a consensus. Were the airplanes really turning sharper, or did they just look like they were turning sharper? It didn't make any difference to us as long as they looked like they're turning sharper. That was good enough. Whether they were or not, they had an impression when they're flying through the pattern that they were turning sharp corners.
Yeah.
And
I judged you and Fancher the first year you brought yours to the to the VSC, and that was that had the most amazing looking turn. I didn't know whether it was turning that sharp, like you said, or if it looked but it looked good.
yeah, well, there's a story about why we built those two at the same time. I won't go into that, but we both ended up at VSC with the new airplanes. I think he flew better than I did because I had been kind of laid up for a while before then, and hadn't flown very much. But my airplane was brand new. His was brand new. His was lighter, but mine flew better. But he flew his better than I flew mine.
Was his orange and yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's pretty. No, I think yellow with some green trim.
Okay.
And I've got a picture here somewhere. But when he's sanding or shaping his wing ribs, he had them sandwiched, and he sanded, and his airfoil was noticeably thinner than what the plan showed. And I think that hurt him on performance. Like I say, his airplane was lighter than mine. Mine flew better, but he was a better pilot than I was.
That paint scheme's nice, simple, but really suits the lines of the airplane.
Mhm.
Well, you guys see the one that I'm sharing?
It's not original. Dick Mathis did an article on retracting gear, and he had a chiseler that he'd built with basically this kind of a paint scheme on it, at least on the fuselage, and a little bit different. I changed a little bit, but that's where the inspiration came from, was from a picture of Dick Mathis had on one of his airplanes and an article he did on retracting gear. I could find that if you want to see it.
I wouldn't mind seeing.
I can find that.
Did he have retracting gear on a chiseler? That's what.
Yes.
While he's looking for that, can I share an ST's box cover?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
How do I do that again? Down here, share. Yeah. You guys got it?
There it is.
There it is.
That's the one. I was looking for that. I was looking in my old magazines to see if I could find the ad, but I couldn't find it.
Right. Now you
Okay,
see,
so
see the picture on the right, how it's got the sheeted leading edge?
That's the one. That's the one I've got.
Yeah.
Or that Naomi has. That's the plane right there.
You could see still, or did the picture stay the same?
it looks like it had a full-size plan in it then too.
It did, but it was really
Yes.
crappily drawn.
Yeah.
That's the one. I can see the wing on the left-hand side there.
Yeah.
And I remember it. It was really poorly drawn. It was just a mess.
I switched photos. Do you see the plans in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it did go. All right, cool.
Good
Well,
job,
that's the
Walter.
S1A, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the S1A, and Mike was right that it was yellow and black, the airplane.
And see, you can see the sheeted leading edge in the picture
Right,
to
in
the
the
right.
photo on the right.
Yeah, that's the same one I've got.
Okay. Was yours STs though?
Well, it said Sterling right on the front of the box, just like that.
Okay.
But inside, some of the literature inside said Estes.
Okay.
So it was weird.
Yeah, that's when they
That
just.
could have been the crossover years.
Yeah. That's what it was. That was the crossover years. You can see it says Sterling on part of the plans, but I remember it saying something about Estes inside. And I didn't know what that was all about. But anyway.
Okay. Well, cool. At least we got some kind of answer on that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
You guys want to snag a picture, save the picture so we can bring it up later.
That's awesome.
Let me make Keith Trossel big.
Okay, here is Mathis' original chiseler is in Flying Models in 66. This was red Jap tissue, trim, and clear dope. And to me, it was beautiful, but he took it in the year on appearance. But then a couple of years later, he did an article, didn't get too much attention. Retracts for stunt. And it had a couple pictures of the airplane he had it in. And see if I can get it off here. Here's what was in the magazine. And oops, sorry. There. And I enlarged it so you can see where my inspiration came for what I did on the fuselage.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. Oh, that's pretty.
I don't know what color. I think they're red, blue, and white. What he did there, but
That is pretty.
Did you make Keith large, Charles? I've still got the picture of the ringmaster here.
Yeah, he's large on my computer.
Okay.
Well, I've got the ringmaster picture too, as an advertisement actually
Maybe
now.
stop sharing, Walter. Maybe that's what the problem is. Just hit the stop button, Walter. Is Walter around?
That's what I was trying to figure out how to do. How do I undo it?
There's one that says stop sharing.
I don't. Okay,
At the very,
share.
very top of the screen, very top of your image. The shared image at the top, it says stop sharing.
Stop. Share. I only have share.
Okay, let me see what if I can do anything. Let me see. Sharing office.
Pause share.
Let me see if I can.
There we go.
I didn't-
Thank you. Perfect.
Okay, I hit
That's
pause
perfect.
share. Sorry.
There we go.
Anyway, that was inspiration for what I thought did a real nice job of blending in with the overall design of that tail end.
Yeah.
Can
And
you,
I-
can you
Only
make it
39
big?
ounces.
What's that?
Only 39 ounces. That's commendable.
Well, he is a free flight guy and he built light.
Can you
And
see it, John Miller, or you can't see it?
It's you need to make it big.
It's not big?
It's
No.
big.
It's big on my screen.
Big on mine.
Check on your upper right, John. Go to maybe speaker or gallery. Make sure you're not in gallery or something, maybe. Or
I'm in
switch it.
gallery, but I'll go to speaker.
Try that.
Okay, I got him big now.
but like I say, this was his original, and I saw this.
Oh yeah.
He was second place behind Bart Klipinski at the 67 Nats.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was second just by a couple points.
What color was the original plane?
That is the original one.
No, what color was it?
It was red Jap tissue with black Jap tissue, all clear dope.
Oh,
But when he took second in 67, he had the red, white, and black paint scheme with the wheel pants on it.
Yeah, and
I have that picture in front of the scoreboard with Barton and him and Gieske with the 3 airplanes.
I'll go to the picture of that. Hold on.
You still in touch with him, Bob?
With who?
Dick
Mathis?
Mathis. Yeah.
Not for a number of years.
Oh, okay.
Was it Chisler a modified Nobler?
I've noticed that the some of the ones I've seen have not got the tail worked in like Keith has. They it's like a 1/2 inch thick balsa that's airfoil in that, but it's not blended into the fuselage like that.
I have that picture too here or something.
Wow, this has been such a good show. We're actually at the end of our stream portion. I'm going to end the stream pretty soon. Wow, this time just went by.
Yeah.
A winner.
Time flew.
Time flew.
Good one.
Well, I got to shut her down anyway, guys. So hopefully catch it Friday.
All right, thank you for coming
Look
in,
forward
Bob.
to it.
Yeah, I gotta
Easy,
go.
Robert.
I'm gonna
Take it easy,
cut out
Bob.
too, guys.
See you, Bob.
See you guys.
Take care, Walter.
Bye now.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming in.
I gotta go.
And I'm gonna say goodnight too, guys.
Good night,
Good night,
Walter.
Walter. Thanks for coming
All
in.
right.
Glad you're feeling fantastic. That's awesome.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Be blessed.
Yeah.
You
Good to
too.
you.
You too, Walter.
Well, let me just end the live stream. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you have a chance to do some more flying and building in your shop. Come back and tell us all about it Friday. So until then.